speaker for this evening, Yusseri. Try to lower the expectation more.
Yes, please. For those of you who are still awake, is this working? Yep. Okay, for those of you who are still awake, I shall endeavor.
Rapper style. Yeah, the rapper style.
Yeah.
Keep it close to your mouth.
Try to sort of put you to sleep. Okay. Okay. Wait, where's forward? Right. He's just shown me the forward one, no reverse. So, I get a hint. Right. The talk is about keeping the Malaysian Insider up. I'm making the assumption that everyone knows what the Malaysian Insider is. I didn't spend a lot of time doing this, so, it's a bit Spartan. It's an online news website, does 250,000 to 300,000 uniques a day, 2 million plus uniques a month, blah, 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 1 terabyte, blah, blah. The CDN does about 10 to 11 terabytes a month. Most of the time, for me, it's actually fairly boring. It only gets really exciting when something happens. An airplane disappears, it gets shot down. No, we're in the news business, right? A politician dies. Here's a little secret for those who are not aware of people in the media. For the more important politicians, their obits are about 70% done. So once they kick the bucket, 5 minutes tops. Entire thing changes, life history, what he's done, everything. Yeah. Politician caught in a sex romp. In Malaysia, that doesn't happen very often because I think they're very discreet. And general elections. So, that time, the concurrent readers, number of concurrent readers spiked, sometimes by a factor of 10 or more, but we don't actually know because normally at that time we're just too busy to look at the numbers. And also because in the case of the Malaysian Insider, it's free, we don't charge, they don't charge anyone. So, like Gareth showed the 22,000 concurrent users and all that. There's this little thing called Chartbeat that does that for us as well. But, we're maxed out at 10,000 concurrent because any more than that, we've got to pay more money. So, if anyone asks us, we'll just say 10,000 plus. Plus what? We have no idea. Yeah? Because, you have to pay more. So, right? Yeah, something like that. But if it's more than 10,000, you got to pay some more, and then it's some more. Yeah, look like Chartbeat, yeah. So, okay, so we use Ubuntu, 14.04 on some, 12.04 on others. We've got 10.10, I think. Varnish is brilliant. There's Apache, MySQL, PHP. Monitoring, we use Zabbix, because we're posh that way. It's also free. Munin, Najos, brilliant. Zabbix, also quite good. Quite heavy resource-wise, but we don't have 300 servers, so that's not too bad. And Expression Engine as the content management system, so it's not a Drupal or WordPress. It's not free and open source, so they have to pay a hefty sum for that. So basically, a lot of the budget goes to that one. It's quirky, it's a bit weird. Support's quite good though. Everything's templated. The templates are stored inside the database. Bizarre. I didn't quite like it at the beginning, but it's not too bad now. So Varnish is a cache. It's also a load balancer. It works really well. Takes quite a bit of time to configure well. Documentation is rather difficult. I should note that Gareth was the one who did the initial implementation of Varnish for the Malaysian Insider. With no documentation, so we were sort of making it up as we went along. You see, because we didn't start doing TMI. Somebody else did it before us, and it wasn't very good. So we had to sort of, wing it. We said we could do it better. We didn't know actually whether we could do it better. We just said we could. So thankfully it worked out well. Well, like, I wasn't sure because we only had 18 minutes, right? So I wasn't sure what I was supposed to talk about. So I figured the LAMP stack, there's nothing to say here that, it's LAMP, right? Apache may not be the best for high traffic websites, but it's the most well understood. To configure it is easier than like HTTPD. See, when you can't properly pronounce the software, it's not good, right? Like HTTPD. Every time I try to write it down, I have to always remember how many T's, right? Or how many H, right? Because it's not good. Nginx is very interesting. We run it for our ad servers, but for EE, for expression engine, it took a lot more effort than I was willing to invest in. They have guides online and all that, but every time I configured Nginx for EE, it never quite worked. Probably to do with the templates and probably to do how they, probably with a lot to do with how EE does their rewriting. So, I just forget it, can't be bothered. We have redundancies. The varnish servers run on failover. There are 3 varnish servers. You'll see the diagram in a bit. The web servers are load balanced. The database servers are replicated. You know what, I'm going to use the reverse button. Actually, I have a lot to say about MySQL. Right? It's actually quite terrible. It really is. It's atrocious. If you use ISAM, and Expression Engine insists that you use ISAM. They say it's better, faster selects, right? But table locking, the entire table gets locked whenever you want to do an update. And we're a news website, like it's terrible, right? Replication introduces spikes. That's the only thing I could figure out. We get issues of databases, of the database spiking when there's no traffic. We get 500,000 people hitting the website, we're fine. Right? 2 guys at 2 a.m., we get a spike. Right? So, it's weird. And then we get paranoid. So, the EE and the database dumps, they get dumped every 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. I can't actually remember, it's all in a cron job. So, whatever the numbers were. So it gets asyncs everywhere. And then we have an EC2 instance on AWS. We used to call it the Malaysian outsider. Because it's outside there. And then when we're feeling especially misogynist, we call it the Malaysian inside her and the Malaysian outside her. And then we decided, no, that's not good. Right, this is the system architecture. Okay. So varnish 1, varnish 2, varnish 3. The higher the number, the newer the machine, essentially. Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. Web 1's actually dead. But it's still there because I had to fill in a form at Ames to pull it out and couldn't be bothered either. DB2 was there, and then I think went to Singapore. I think it's in my house right now, but never mind. All right. Yeah. So that's fine. Earlier this year, I said to the boss, hey boss, I think we need an NFS server. He said, yeah, really? I said, yeah, because serverware's got a discount for it. It's like $3,000. So yeah, all right then. So we got an NFS server. And we got a hot backup because, we're not paranoid enough to have like 3 web servers and 3 varnish servers. We want a hot backup in case these guys get nuked. Of course, the problem when you're scaling up, as Guy was saying, the problem here is obviously if they bomb the data center, we're finished. Right? So it didn't really matter, right? Okay. Apple. So the servers get added, a few get removed. We had a media server and ad server in there as well. We no longer use that, but it's still in there. It's switched off right now to save on power because we're green. So total investment is less than 100K. Mostly, this is not a plug for serverware, just telling you. We're buying it, we bought it from serverware. Basically, I look at their brochure and say, oh, okay, new stuff, cheaper, offer, let's get that one. Couldn't afford anything fancy when we first started anyway. And the multiple redundancies meant that failures are rarely terminal to the site's uptime. So like I said, one of the web servers are dead. I think the other one's not working as well now. Actually, now that I forgot. Because see, it was 2 a.m. I was bored. I decided to do an update on the Ubuntu. Right. Because it was cheap, it's software-y, right? Something happened. I really should go and check that, actually, one of these days. But that's how it works, right? Because we have multiple redundancies. See, the thing is, so architecture-wise, we're all right. Under normal circumstances, the infrastructure can handle the traffic. It's bandwidth limited. In other words, it's how much money we're paying the data center, AIMS in this case. So it has never been, we have never had a situation where the servers couldn't shovel out the traffic. It's always been we end up being bandwidth limited, and then, crazy phone calls. Give us more bandwidth, give us more bandwidth. And then the guy on the other side, yeah, can you fill in the form? No, we can't fill in the form. Like, this guy has just been caught, banging his coffee maker boy thing, right? So, and then, but things only get really hairy when we're under heavy attack. We're always under attack. About 2 weeks ago, I got a message from the boss. He says, hey, how come we're shipping 30 gigs? It's a Sunday. And I looked at it. Turns out that I don't know why he's doing it. He's pulling out the RSS every second. And we're just shoving the thing out, right? But I haven't got a clue why. I'm just looking at it. Look at the IP, some IP off in the state. Might be an Amazon EC2 instance, maybe not sure, whatever, right? So, okay, then black hole, blob, okay, whatever. So we're always under attack. The only difference is whether it's under heavy attack, moderate attack, or just a bit of a tickle. Like today at 1:18, the security provider guy sends an email, says, we have detected possible DDoS on the TMI site. Please, I'm not sure, I think he said something like, please feedback or something. Something to that effect. And I said, well, there's nothing to see. But they're all right. They're great in that sense because they give us warning. But it's just a tickle. But it wasn't actually a DDoS, really. Because they're getting a bit too sensitive, these guys over that side, because the boss guy would call their boss guy and start screaming at that dude. So they get a bit sensitive. It's just there was a press conference, PKR, to see the Selangor guys saying that they support one Aziza, and then another dude crashes and gives out another press release saying that, oh yeah, Azbin too, right? So everybody goes, right? And Klein Mike was saying that it was a sabotage, la-di-da, storm in a teacup. So short while, little spike. Now we used to only have an IP tables-based firewall. Close all ports that needed to be closed, open 80, 443. The 443, really, we have nothing, we don't need to send anything HTTPS, except that Yahoo requires it for their RSS thing. Bizarre. It was all right, everything was fine, and then we got DDoS. So round one in February 2012, it was a Friday, I remember this. We had somebody was complaining, sites there, can't access website's down. And I said, no, it's not down. And I didn't get any email saying that it was down. So I said, no, it's not down. Server's down. No, it's not down. And then, okay, SSH, couldn't SSH in? Something problem with the switch there, AIMS messed up, whatever. I'll go over there anyway, right? So go there, then it's like, oh yeah, man, they've got a problem, blah, blah, blah. Switch died, then turned out it was us. The boss guy said, we broke AIMS for a short while. Right? Yeah, I think it was 2+ gigabit per second coming through. They were prepared for it on our segment because obviously we're on the cheapskate side of things, right? We're not where the big boys are. So we didn't get, the latest fancy ass stuff. So you know, it was DDoSed. The servers were fine, no reboots, nothing. You know. So obviously we needed more protection than an IP tables-based firewall. It was literally a bash script. So Global Transit offered DDoS protection using TCS. Yeah, this widget. It's a hardware switch that does deep packet inspection. It's subscription-based. We have to pay them X amounts of money every month. Does active monitoring and blah, 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 you know. So it's all very fancy, expensive stuff. So that was great. And then we got DDoSed again. The month before the general elections, the bad guys were all over the place. The attacks were sustained. It was just constant and sort of working on a schedule. Sort of, you know, on at noon for an hour, boom, 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 boom. And again, they took a break. And then, you know, had some tea. Came back at 4, boom, 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 boom. Took a break. You know, 8 o'clock, do again, boom, boom, boom. You know, after some time, okay, maybe they had a script. I know, right? We're not sure how many sources, 10,000, 20,000 botnets and all that. You know, but we were amused because, you know, hey, everything's fine. You know, everyone could still see the site, so that's great. No problem. Then, late in April, so I was having a chat with the boss guy, and I said, you know, these global transit guys, they're not doing too bad actually. You know, I was saying that, you know, whoever was doing these attacks, it must be success-based because they weren't stopping. They kept coming, right? We were okay for the most part. And then the global transit guys called me out and says, you know, sorry, dude, we've got a black hole. I said, why? Right? Yes, our upstream guy has 3 gigabits per second. Attacks are coming in at 6 gigabits per second. Other customers on your segment are getting buggered as well. So we're going to black hole your IP address. Thanks, guys, you know. Yeah, great, right? So we start switching IP addresses. Because a lot of the attacks were IP-based. So basically, I think they resolved the DNS, looked at the IP address, 203.23.159.194, and went for it. So we changed to 195. Right? They black hole 194. Right? So it was all right for a while. And then, then, you know, I guess they came back from their coffee break and said, IP's changed. So they went to 195. And then they said, okay, then that gets black holed as well. So put out the Malaysian Outsider live and redirected Insider to Outsider as well on AWS. Started having, large EC2 instances. That's great. And I was saying that, what's that database thing that they've got on AWS? What's that database thing? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that thing. So, very nice, right? But it's very expensive. It's like William was saying just now, right? There's your guys, right? You pay your money and then off you get, right? Yes. But AWS has no DDoS protection. You got to pay someone else for that as well. Has no Malaysian presence. And that really, really bothers us. Because we're the Malaysian insider. 95% of our traffic. Okay. Yes, on? Right, okay. 95% of our traffic is local. Right? So you have to send all traffic via Singapore and US. Yeah, I had the US one because, you know, I thought, hey, why not, right? That's cool, right? But it's very expensive. In case I wasn't clear, it's very expensive because they charge the bandwidth as well. I remember talking to the Amazon AWS guy saying, look, we're really cool. You know, when you use us, we don't have a bandwidth cap. That concept is alien to us. We'll give you as much bandwidth as you need. But we haven't got as much money as you would want from us. See, that's where the problem is. Do you see the gap? Right? So, you know, so I said, okay, screw this. Right? So exploit other DDoS mitigation providers, people, right? Famous names, big guys, gouges. All of them gouges. 10,000 US to start with. Before we do anything for you, 10 grand. You want more bandwidth, what? 6 gigabits per second? Well, we'll do you 50 gigabits per second, no problem. 200 grand. Can we pay you monthly? No, you pay up front for the year. Yeah, could get a discount. No, this is it. You're in trouble, right? You're in trouble, right? Your site's not up, right? 10 grand. That's what it is. So we went to Cloudflare. 200 US a month, flat rate, no bandwidth cap. They say if you're successful, whatever. Then they were talking about how they were handling, 15 gigabits per second or something like that. Relatively rapid support. It must be said, a lot of the support question, because there's an IT manager in TMI, it's not me. So he didn't quite understand what Cloudflare was doing. So he was asking a lot of questions to the Cloudflare guys because, $200, okay? Right? Who paid those guys $200? Better ask them questions, right? So, yeah, but not too bad. And then we were okay, and all the way until the general election was over. Cloudflare did well, but by June 2013, we decided to unhook ourselves from CF. They do have outages, sometimes. Not often. They're brilliant at it, but they still do have outages. It's like using a black box, though. I have absolutely no idea, for the most part, what's happening in there. And that made me especially very uncomfortable. I wanted back control of site behavior. I wanted to have a good idea where the bandwidth is coming from. And it's also, and obviously it's a very personal, selfish thing. If there is a problem, I want to fix it. Don't really want to pay some other guy $200 US a month to fix it for me. So that's sort of the bottom line, right? Now, certain things, yeah, like CDN, that makes sense, right? At, I think 10 cents a gigabyte or 5 cents a gigabyte, that makes sense, right? But all the other bits, nah, it's okay. And then we had round 3 in September 2013. This is when the WAF guys started pitching their stuff at us. Web application firewall guys, like that, okay, whatever, right? So they say, yeah, it's not the sort of DDoS, not TCP SYN attacks, we don't do that stuff, we go straight inside, sort of thing. So I had a bit of a running battle, we won, sort of, if you call, being up, winning. Because that's what it was. For the most part, in terms of architecture, we scale well. We build redundancies, but keeping the Malaysian insider up a lot of the time is basically swatting these guys away. And then there's round 4. It's coming. There's a punchline. Yeah, time is up. So, it's round 4, but time's up. I'm tired. You guys are tired as well. So that's it. Thank you very much.